Now that we've covered all the styles of text field, let's move on to checkboxes and radio buttons. Radio buttons are very similar to checkboxes, but exist in sets where you can select only one of the available options. They are functionally identical to a drop-down menu, but they take up more space. On the plus side, you can see all of the options when the document is printed. I prepared a yes or no question. Do you like cheese? Which will get radio buttons, and a second prompt with 9 kinds of cheese that will have check boxes so you can select all the kinds of cheese that you like. First, I'm going to tag my prompts as headings. This won't always be the right choice for your form, but I think it makes sense for mine. Open the Paragraph Styles menu and expand the Headings group to apply heading styles. Next, I'll expand the Forms group and the Checks/Radios group. Here we have a selection of styles all named radio buttons for different column widths, just like our label below styles. Even though they're named radio buttons, you would use these same styles for checkbox labels and sets. My yes and no labels are both small enough to fit in one column, so I'll give them the radio buttons one call style. They've both been indented from the left margin of their column to make room for the radio button, and on export they will be tagged as one list. Now I'll mark all my cheese varieties with the same paragraph style, but some of my labels are actually too big to fit in one column. When this happens, InDesign pushes them ahead into a text frame that doesn't have columns. I'll give Camembert the 2-column style. Now mozzarella is on the second page by itself, so I'll do the same with it. It's grouping all of my cheeses a little funny. Maybe some manual column breaks will help. You can find the column break option in the Type menu under Insert Break Character. But if you're lucky enough to have one, you can use your numpad's Enter key. Now I feel like I need a 10th short name cheese for my list to look nice and balanced, but I can't think of any. I'll just put Steve. Moving on. Now we need our actual checkboxes and radio buttons. As before, I'll use the rectangle tool to draw a box. Next, in the Buttons and Forms window, set Type to Radio Button. If you don't have this window docked, it's in the Windows menu under Interactive. You might notice that, visually, my radio button looks very weird. Don't worry about it. I've finalized their appearance in Acrobat. Now I'll duplicate this radio button by holding Alt and clicking and dragging out of it. I can then draw a box around both to select them both at once and define one name and description for the group. Remember that the name field is for internal reference, and the description field is the tooltip read by Access Technologies. The most important thing about the name field is that it be unique to this group and preferably identifiable by you. For the description, I'll put the question, "Do you like cheese?" Now I need to pick each of them, one at a time, to set the button values to yes and no. Okay, now let's prepare the checkboxes. Draw another square using the rectangle tool, and this time set the type to checkbox. To make things simple, I'll put in the name cheese01 before I start duplicating. InDesign will automatically increment this number as I duplicate, so each checkbox has a unique name. Now I'll go back through and fill in the description field with the name of each cheese. Now we need to anchor each checkbox to its label. Drag from the blue anchor square to the label text, and make sure the anchor icon appears on the frame. Then open the Object Styles window, expand the Forms group, and select the style radio or check, and repeat. Now all my checkboxes and radio buttons are nicely aligned with their labels and each other, and they're all ready for export. We've now covered all of the most common types of form fields that we typically use. Next, we'll look into exporting and finalizing our document.